The reason the MQLs aren't perceived as money in the pocket of the sales team and craved instinctually are because they're misaligned. And that's a misalignment across silos in the organization around what a true MQL should look and feel like. It
Mm.
doesn't have the proper blend of demographic, firmographic, behavioral intent, not necessarily purchase, but behavioral intent to necessitate a conversation. You're likely seeing a situation where your lead scoring threshold or your um, high value actions are misaligned with what people actually desire from your sales process. If they're not ready for a conversation, you shouldn't call them. That is the controversial
Mhm.
hot take, I think.
Yeah, just because you filled out a a form to download a paper doesn't mean you wanna be called, right? Like,
That's
we
100%
know
right.
that, right?
You said you wanted to go to a webinar. You didn't say you wanted a sales pitch. And I've had the opportunity over the last couple decades to sit in many a boardroom and do sales and marketing alignment workshops. And I frequently, having been a salesperson, I was an AE, rather rather well compensated AE in my early days, and broke a couple commission structures myself. But what it comes down to is sitting down with your sales and marketing team and thinking about your website like a virtual storefront and thinking about, say, you own a jewelry store and you see people walking through the door every day. Sometimes you see a couple walk in hand with tennis rackets on their shoulder and Izod and Burberry, and they walk up to the designer engagement ring counter and they're holding hands and they're pointing directly at what they want. And sometimes you see a little kid come in and go straight to the cookies that are sitting on the counter. And sometimes you see, a woman come in with a broken watch and walk up to your service counter. You can get those same indications from behavior digitally, and you handle them differently
Mhm.
and you triage them accordingly, and you don't serve them all up and say, well, they all walked in the front door. That means they're all at the store and they all want to shop, because it's just not the same.
So, you're basically saying that we need to put more cookies on the table to get more people in. That's basically
Put cookies in front of the people that are buying the, designer engagement rings instead of the little kid, perhaps, or maybe put the right cookies in front of sales is really what I'm saying at the heart of the
Yeah.
matter. And I think having an agreement with sales where, I was just talking with Adobe earlier this morning about how you handle cherry pickers in the sales process. When they go in and they don't wanna wait and they wanna ungate everything and get all the leads, they complain because they're saturated with volume. When they don't get enough, you'll see them go in and they'll cherry pick and they'll try and call leads before their time, but they're not ripened yet. And one of the other analogies that I would use in these workshops was around the fact that you might see the love of your life when you're out and it's your human, right? And you see them and maybe it's the most inopportune time, right? Maybe they're walking out of a locker room, right? Like,
We're from the jewelry store to the gym room
right.
locker.
Maybe they're leaving the dentist and they've got, a numb mouth. Even if you see this human being and you're like, wow, this is my person. I know that it's meant to be. Guess what? The time and the place that you approach them matters. You could
Exactly.
completely be off-putting and make them never want to engage with your brand again by acting too soon. And I don't know that that resonates fully with people that are under quotas or have, a rigid list of target accounts or are afraid for job security.